All you're gonna do is take a wet rag, knock the dust off of it, let it dry, and then you're ready for the Smith's Leather Balm. So here's a boot that I just rinsed off, and you can see where this boot has never been conditioned. The oil tanned leather is completely dehydrated and dry, starts to get crusty. And all we're gonna do is hit it with a little Smith's Leather Balm, and you'll see that leather, as it begins to soak up that all natural leather balm, the leather's really just gonna pop. It's gonna bring it back to life. And we're gonna make these boots look new. So yeah, I'll show you how we do it. What I like to do is just run my thumb just over the top of it. Collect a small amount on your thumb. You're not gonna need a lot, but you'll see the minute you begin applying it to these dehydrated boots, that leather, like a sponge, is just gonna begin to absorb that all natural leather balm, the cocoa butter, the almond oil, and the beeswax. And in a really short period of time, all these spots where you're just witnessing the leather being dehydrated is gonna soak up that product. And you'll get a really good idea here of how quickly it works. I'm using a little bit more than I ordinarily would because these boots are so far gone. They've never been cared for. They've never been treated. So you see me applying a pretty generous amount by hand. If this were a newer pair of boots or a pair of boots that were not quite as far gone, I would need far less of the balm. But I'm gonna go ahead and apply a pretty generous amount because I know this leather is so dehydrated, it's really gonna soak it up. You'll see the difference when you have that piece of leather that's just complete, all those all natural, all the oils that come in oil tanned leather have just been completely stripped of that boot. You'll see as we begin massaging that balm in, how the leather just comes right back. I mean, it doesn't take long for you to get pretty dramatic improvement. And we haven't been at this for very long and it's already starting to look really good. I'm just gonna run a line right down here and show you what it's gonna look like. These boots still have plenty of life left in them. There's no reason that they should be discarded or tossed in a landfill. He wore every single day for almost 3 years, and they were never cared for. And what happens is they get wet, they get dry, wet and dry, and that cycle is really what just strips all the moisture from this leather. So this is almost like a sponge really absorbing the balm. So you'll find it almost melt in your hands a little bit as you go to apply it. Makes it really easy to go on. A lot of guys like to use a rag. I find that a rag absorbs most of the product. That's why and as long as I've been doing this going on 10 years now, I've always used my hands. I just feel like I have more control. I feel like I get a better application. I feel like it takes to the leather better when you carefully massage it in by hand. Once I've completed the entire boot, I like to kind of just inspect it. You're gonna have to rub carefully along the seams. I like to make sure that I get a good application along the seams and then also along the sole. This toe box here is really where you're gonna see these boots break down and lose that moisture. Why is that? Because this is the part of your boot that's gonna be wet, dry the most as you stomp through puddles and dewy grass, and the toe box really gets wet and then it's dry and it's wet and dry. And these natural oils that exist in leather are just completely stripped when that process occurs so many times. I told my buddy, man, you don't need to throw these in the garbage. You just need to hit it with the Smiths.